Marshall skips away. Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.
Welcome back to the TGIF podcast. Thank God it's footy. Hell of a week. Well, sitting on this side of the, not so much couch, but on the green chair compared to the blue chair.
The old TGIF derby, eh?
Yeah,
Kicking it off
derby round one.
For the year with a big fat out. Good, just a good week in general in terms of sport.
I was going to say for me, pretty successful apart from the Black Caps. Old washout loss on Sunday afternoon. Couldn't have gone much better. Saturday into Sunday morning. Good emphatic one for the Arsenal as well.
A couple of wins on the trot for you there, but good week in general. League back in action, bit of footy going on.
Sun's been back out today, which is a good sign.
Back out today, which is nice. And we're right into the thick of it this weekend. The footy's off to Vegas. We get a good time to kick off as well. What are we, 3:30 and 5:30 in the afternoon? I believe, something like that, I think.
I thought it was slightly earlier. Yeah, no, you're correct. 3:30
and 5:30. Ideal way to end the weekend there. 2 games back to back over in Vegas. As we've just seen recently on a smaller size field, is what Neds is telling us.
100 yards, I reckon.
We're thinking possibly measured in yards. Who knows how that, whether or not that does anything. Probably
91 metres maybe?
Makes it interesting. I'm not so good with the old yard to metre conversion. 91.44, not bad. So it makes a bit of a difference, I guess, you've got to think, but just
goes inside, gets in the clear, it maybe takes them half a second less to...
Yep, you've got it like that with someone with that much pace on them. But just good to have some footy back. Proper NRL season, it's here upon us. Shout out to the Broncos taking out the pre-season. 100k little bonus there. Pretty outrageous tournament, I think. Really, the way
slapping on red.
So I don't think they need to be getting themselves into any of the pokies, any of these league players. I reckon the NRL should be saying to them, stay well away from the casino, I think. But it's an outrageous tournament there.
Who's going to be the player that shows up to the game dusty?
About 1/4 of them, I'd say.
Of them, yeah. I was going to say more than one, but
they're handing out bonus points for offloads. They're handing out bonus points for line breaks. What was the third one that they're giving it out for? Tries. 5 tries scored, I think it was.
And offloads.
12 points for a win. I think it was 12 points, 10 points for a win. Something very, very silly. So the way it works out, it's quite outrageous. The commentators are frothing there at the end of the game when one team only needs an offload or something like that to get the top bonus points. And it's a weird one, but shout out the Broncos. Maybe that's the downfall. There was a bit of hype around Manly last year after taking out the pre-season challenge there, and then their season sort of fell apart. So maybe that's good for fans of every other team in the NRL. The Broncos maybe fall away, but just good to have some proper footy back. But not the best weekend there, as you said before, for me as a Tigers fan, up against your Dragons. Sort of like we said, that pre-season spoon derby. Now.
The indicator.
We didn't take the pre-season challenge spoon. I know that, taking obviously that win there against the Warriors. It's not a good look when you have pretty much most of your starting team involved in that run-on squad there, and I think we're only really missing Johnny Bateman really. Just not the right attitude. I don't think we looked pretty off.
Yeah, I mean. Made us look pretty good as well. There's a couple of little sweeps down our left-hand side. Moses Sully was absolutely causing you just nightmares in that first half, especially. Ravalawa as well. It's just at one stage did a little skip across field, a couple of dummies involved. Don't really see that from Ravalawa too often, but yeah, also thought Kyle Flanagan and Ben Hunt had a nice little combination in the halves. Whether we see that blossom a little bit more, or maybe it was just up against a Tiger side that wasn't quite at it. Guess we'll have to wait and see, but I guess it's good signs for the Dragons fans that at least we're probably not sitting as early outright favourites for that spoon. Still probably down in that top 2 or 3 for the spoon, I'd say. But yeah, surely that loss has got to maybe move the Tigers out a bit. I don't know if the bookies pay too much attention to pre-season, but
who knows? But yeah, not the greatest showing, like you said. Yeah, Moses Suli sort of ripped through us. I don't think there was anyone really from the Tigers that I was too pleased with. But yeah, just not right from the get-go. What was it, 3 or 4 tries in that first half?
Yeah, it was pretty back and forth early on, and then once we scored that try, Ben Hunt ripped it out of Aiden Caesar's hands over the line. Moses Sully after that scored one and set one up. I had another one that was disallowed straight after that.
Something like that, but my intention sort of had dwindled by that stage, to be fair, the way we were playing. But, I mean, only positive, end of, next week, we'll be sitting there with 2 points at least for taking that bye.
I mean, there's two types of fans, you know, the one that can take the positives out of it and the one that can just write it off as it's pre-season.
Oh, see, I was the complete opposite the week before with that win against the Warriors.
That's the thing. Pre-season, that can go one or two ways. You either look into it if you get a win, or you write it off if you get a loss. Usually, but I'm
looking forward to having a bye to start the season.
Yeah, I was going to say at least you
take that 2
points,
and then
a couple of weeks rest.
And then up against Canberra. So hopefully they take the L this week, or next week it ends up being. But we also had Wigan taking the W there up against Penrith. A slightly controversial win.
Yeah, a little bit of a try that was awarded for Wigan that people are saying was double movement. I think it's clearly double movement if you look at it.
Yep.
But who knows what those pommy refs are thinking.
Yeah, a few unusual things there over the last few weeks, send-offs and things like that.
Penrith were unlucky to get a try disallowed in the last seconds of the game, really, the last play. What's that, 3 tries they've had at it now, and all 3 times they've come up short on that World Club Challenge, so can't seem to get the better of the Super League.
Which is an unusual thing when you think about how good this Penrith team is, but whether or not they can go away and make 4 in a row and go and give it another crack.
I mean, you'd probably have to put them as your favourites.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they're more Brisbane, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of other fans of other teams who will be pretty stoked to see them come away with a loss again.
Yeah,
I think there's probably fans out there who are embarrassed to see the NRL team out there losing to the team from the Super League, but it's a pre-season spectacle, you know.
But I think even, maybe not the most biased Super League fan, but surely most Super League fans would admit that the NRL is head and shoulders the better comp. But yep, you're right. Maybe they will point to those last 3 years of the Pommy sides picking up the big one. It didn't really catch too much of the other games. Had a little flick through.
I watched a couple of blows for a few teams. I think probably the most notable one was I was watching this game. Dolphins up against the Warriors.
Tommy Gilbert out for the season with an ACL.
You saw him go down, and they went back and sort of showed the replay afterwards, and you can see where he's done it, but he sort of screamed out in pain when it happened. It didn't look good. So and unfortunately, obviously after his injury problems last year as well.
Yeah, it's unlucky.
Shoulder, I think it was a shoulder reconstruction.
Yeah, went off in what was it, game 2, State of Origin?
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe even game 1.
Awesome player, but huge loss. for the Finns there, missed the season. Tommy Gilbert, a couple of other injuries here and there, a couple in the game up against you fellas.
Yeah, look, Laurie and Little coming off injured. No.
Have a little look at this, what do they call it? Casualty award. Chemist Warehouse Casualty Award.
What have we got going there?
So they're due back for round 1, which is good.
What about those Tigs?
I don't think obviously Dilly. And Holland round 2.
He put in a few good whacks against you fellas, eh? That's going to be good to see this,
yeah.
yeah.
Player for you guys.
Yeah, a few.
Got a bit of a point to prove after a bit of an accident.
Someone else put in a huge hit. I can't remember who it was, and you can see Oldham in the background.
It was Junior Tupou smoked
yeah,
Jack Bird, and Jack Bird gave him a fucking
and Oldham's in the background like fucking frothing it.
Just lads that love their footy, I suppose.
Yeah, it's bloody good.
Awesome to see.
But yeah, Laurie and Little both going down. What do we have? Nico Hines missed the game.
Yeah, didn't see Nico Hines. Didn't watch the game, so wouldn't have seen him even if he did play. But yeah, a little bit of a notable missing. Back for round 1, so obviously isn't too bad there, but definitely one the Sharkies don't want to be without for too long.
No, it's a big
carrying
loss
any
for
sort of
them.
knocks into the season. A little bit of signing news out of the Roosters. Luke Carey signed on for another year, I believe, so he'll be there till end of 2025.
Yeah, I think you're right there, an extra season on his contract.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Hasn't been playing his best footy in the last couple of years, but has also been horribly unlucky with injury. At the same time, a few head knocks here and there. Roosters as a whole just not really playing their best footy last year.
They've sort of dropped off a little bit. Probably not my cup of tea, Luke Carey. Not really a tea.
Never really been my cup of tea.
But look, the numbers don't lie. A couple of premierships, or 3, sorry, if you include the one at South early on. Got his way into that New South Wales side. Obviously, is a hell of a player, but maybe it's just not as noticeable to the what do you call it? Like the less cultured eye, I suppose. Maybe you got to really understand the nuances to appreciate Carey.
I don't know if he's my type of player. I guess it's more probably the way.
He's definitely not a bustling second row with full armour,
not at all.
Attacking weaponry and a big hit. But 3 premierships. Look, with Sammy Walker still pretty raw, still pretty young. It's probably a good move for them. Match him with a bit of experience. Probably in terms of the Roosters, you got JWH leaving, Joey Manu leaving, Angus Crichton's rumoured to be leaving, so lots of players leaving for the Roosters, so I guess it's good to at least hold on to one more in Carey.
Yeah.
If they can. Sully, did I just say he was leaving as well? Obviously he's off to the Wallabies.
He's gone as well, yeah, so a few outgoings there.
JWH is off to join Hull.
Yep, I did see that, yeah.
So 16 years of getting bashed up in the NRL, obviously not enough for the bloke. He's off to give the Super League a crack. Maybe up that try tally. Who was it we were saying that about? A month or 2 ago?
Mafaluma? No?
The front row that went over to the Super League.
No clue.
I'm going to mind back. But anyway, the start of the season is upon us. Manly taking on South in that 3:30 kickoff. What are you thinking?
It's good. I don't know if it's the best. I would have maybe been starting with the other game, Roosters up against Brisbane, but you get what you're given. Manly up against the Bunnies now. It's that big question mark. I think there for Manly is whether or not we see a fit Tommy Turbo. Obviously named to start. We see all three turbos starting. Yeah, which is cool to see. But whether or not he stays fit, that's the big one. I think if he stays fit all season, we can see a good decent crack from Manly.
If he stays fit all season, they're definitely top 6.
If he's injured, they don't make the 8.
If he's injured
for a decent amount of the season,
significant amount of time, yeah.
And if he does a similar injury again, I think that's him possibly done.
Yeah, if his hammy gets involved, it's a very worrying sign.
I've been saying to Jay about it, and he said that if it happens again, you've got to get rid of him.
Just release him.
I don't know about release him, but you've got to try and fucking get him out of there because he ends up being a liability as good as he is.
Yeah, it's quite loose to have 1.2 million.
Yeah,
1.1, whatever he's on.
And for him not to be playing, I don't know if maybe you lose Jakey and Ben as well if Tommy was to go or something like that. But it's to have and you've got some bloody good other backs in there that can. We saw what Kohler can do there at fullback. But up against the Bunnies, we've seen. Obviously, a couple of Bunnies players do well there in the old Indigenous match there a couple of weeks ago. So they'll be coming in some good form and probably going to be leaning towards the Bunnies. A couple of probably key matchups in this one, I think, that'll really we'll have the say on the day probably.
Yeah, obviously big matchup at fullback. Tommy, Trell. Differing styles of game. One of them, it's whether his body's up for it. The other, it's whether his mind's up for it. But if we can get them both cranking, Tommy gets through unscathed. 80 minutes under his belt, feeling nice and fresh. All the muscles responding well. I'm sure the Trail's keen to put on a show in Vegas.
Well and truly. He'll be looking to get out there and get some flashiness going.
Yeah, it's the one place you do probably want to have a roomed up game this season. Well, apart from when finals and Origin come around. But if those two can go full throbber mode, that'd be pretty awesome to start the season. Obviously, a couple of big signings for each team. South will be without Jackie Whiten due to suspension. Campbell Graham is also out injured for the bulk of the season, which is
saw him go down a couple of weeks ago there.
Yeah, but Brooksy, we'll see how he slots in for that first game in a Manly jersey, named at 6. So I suppose as a Tigers fan, we'll be hoping. Hoping he goes well.
I hope he goes well. Yeah, 100%. I do think he goes well. I think him and DCE. I think him and DCE will be a lethal pairing. To be fair.
Yeah, I haven't heard one person say that it's a bad signing for Manly.
Oh no, not at all. I think it's a very good move there for Manly, and definitely a good move there for Brooksy to get out of Tiger Town. But you've got to wish him well. You've got to. When he was playing well, he was playing some. It was telling him half a year.
Half of the year, not 2 or 3, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago.
So it's we've seen him play some unreal footy, but we've also seen him sort of been given the reins from a very young age and sort of left to try and do everything by himself. I guess the last of that sort of that little elite group of youngsters that we had that we all got rid of. So you got to wish him well. But I do think that he comes away with an L there, our debut for Manly.
Okay, yeah. I reckon that's probably going to be the case as well. South might just edge the win in this one. Probably there's just a little bit more punch in their forwards and potentially star power in the backs. You think of AJ, Latrell, Cody Walker, when they link up going left, they're pretty hard to stop. And Manly, we'll see how they can go this year. Like you said, that whether Tommy's fit or not is a huge swing. I think probably about 9 out of 10 spots on the table for them.
Yep, well and truly.
They'll be crossing their fingers and toes for that. But look, the bloke can pretty much beat anyone on his day. Apart from maybe Penrith or Melbourne that year, he was pretty unstoppable. So if we can see anything like that, I'm sure we'll be frothing come Sunday afternoon. But I see we've thought very similarly here on this one.
Well, it's a flip of a coin really. We've both gone 1 to 12. We've both gone Tommy Turbo to get himself a try in his first game back, as well as AJ, the try scoring machine. I was looking actually at chucking him in their first try scorer, start the season off with an Alex Johnson try. Kind of seems very fitting. But I left it at that. I've gone for the Bunnies and you've gone for Manly. So there's 9 cents in it, $11.30 and $11.39, which is unusual, I think, when the odds were definitely not 9 cents apart.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
And that's pre-boost as well for me. I don't know if that was. You hadn't gone in for the boost, did you?
Hadn't gone in
I
for
think
the
Manly were
boost.
favourites, I'm pretty sure.
Bunnies were favourites.
Bunnies were favourites?
Just. I think maybe
maybe.
were about 20 to 50 cents in that 1 to 12 bracket, but yeah, obviously, you look at it like that, you've probably come up with the better value there. It's
Bunnies were favourite, right? By 20 cents, you're right there. 1 to 12 bracket. So interesting, yeah, nearly 9 cents difference.
You've reeled me in by 11 cents there in terms of the value, but yeah, I've just got a feeling that Manly might come to spoil the party, particularly if Tommy Turbo does get through the 80 unscathed and can bring anything like we know he's capable of bringing.
We shall have to wait and see come 3:30 Sunday. But that'll roll us straight into Roosters up against the Broncos now. One team last year, nothing like what we're used to seeing, and one team one final step away from cracking the big thing.
Yeah, look, obviously the Chooks there coming off probably their worst season in about 7 or 8 years that I could think of. Certainly since the days where they won their back-to-back premierships. We haven't seen them struggle like that, but yeah, like you say, Brisbane one step away. A Nathan Cleary left foot step, was it?
It's something like that, yeah.
Yeah, broke the line, scored that try in the last minute to deny the Bronx another title. I think they'll be back with a very good chance at having another crack at the big dance. And
they're my pick this year. I think that if there's a team to do it, it's this Brisbane team. A little bit more experience with some of those younger blokes. We've seen them sort of build this team up for the last 5-6 years, sort of since that season where we saw this team of 19 and 20-year-olds running around this one. I think if there's a team that can beat Penrith, beat them in the grand final, it's this Brisbane team that can go that one step further. But we've got to start it off with this trip to Vegas, a lucky one as always, Brisbane, getting these away draws that, you know, either not really that far away or something like that. We saw it last year where Brisbane barely had to go down to Sydney. They now get to play an away game in Las Vegas and the Roosters lose a home game.
yeah, it's tough being a Brisbane fan, I suppose. You're playing all your games in Queensland, having to potentially pop over to Vegas for a game. Yeah, very tough. But I do think you're right with that one, that little bit more experience. I think we'll see the likes of Ezra Mam, Reece Walsh, Jordan Rickey, all of those young blokes that really had their flashes and periods of brilliance start to tie it together. I think they'll be heavily featured in terms of origins and internationals throughout the year as well. I see Adam Reynolds has also signed another year on, so whether or not
share there for him as well.
His body gets through that one, but a couple more cracks for him. But yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty tough game for the Chooks. Brisbane definitely coming off last year, like you say, is, if not everyone's favourite, probably second or third favourite. If Latrell Mitchell's going to stand up for a show like Las Vegas, I can think of one bloke on that Brisbane team in Reece Walsh that's also probably going to be pretty keen to light it up in front of the American crowd, in front of the stars that may come along to watch this game. So yeah, probably a tough one for Brisbane. They're looking like they're full strength, I believe, whereas obviously the Chooks missing JWH.
Missing a couple of players there, yeah, exactly.
Suspension, Dom Young stretch it off.
In pre-season, I think he might be due back on TBC. So
yeah, neck injury. That's right. So
it looked hectic, but
Apparently he wasn't far off playing in this game. So
okay,
fingers
so
crossed we see him.
We see him the following round there because obviously a new player there for the Roosters. See how many tries.
Very exciting.
Yeah, get in
What
the
did he
bag
pick up
this
at
year.
Newcastle? 22
I think it was.
last year. So
Whether or not we see that jump up coming to the Roosters, we'll have to wait and see. But it's definitely going to be tough for them, I think, this one here. Up against Brisbane, which we've seen what they could do last year. The Bronx, obviously, new year, it's a fresh start there for the Roosters, but you've probably got to be leaning towards Brisbane to take the dub in this one, I think.
yeah, I mean, the Chooks can easily get the win over anyone if they bring their best game, but I think you probably have to go to Brisbane. Yeah, I don't think anyone really caused them too much troubles last year, obviously. If it wasn't for that Nathan Cleary second half masterclass, they would have come away with a grand final win. So it is hard to go past them, but the Chooks, Joey Manu, James Tedesco, a couple of the other blokes, they've certainly got the firepower to beat anyone if they really do click. But I think it will probably not so much the same as last year, but I don't think they'll be firing straight away.
Yeah.
They'll probably look to, as we say, peak at the right time of the season.
Yeah. Get on that train when
Don't want to be
you
coming
need
in
to be.
peaking like Brisbane maybe are in the pre-season, picking up the comp, and then falling off the cliff throughout the season.
Yeah, you want to be. Like we said, we've seen it plenty of times last year. You want to be peaking at the right time. So, I'm going Brisbane in this one. I think they're going to be far too strong for the Roosters. I've got to say, I think that this is going to be the year that anyone knocks Penrith, sorry, off that top there. It's going to be this Brisbane side. I think they go out there and they start off with a win there in Vegas.
Yeah, that's definitely what my head tells me. But I'm a slut for good odds.
Yeah,
that's for sure. So I've gone for the Roosters 1-12 into a James Tedesco and a Reece Walsh try, both the fullbacks to touchdown, and that's going to get you $30.
$30, yeah, I do like the sound of that. I've just gone nice and easy. Broncos 1-12 into Ezra Mann, $7.13. Nothing too flashy, but if we can start the season with 2 wins, get a little bit of a lead there on you, that'd be ideal after last year's epic failings. So we'll see how we go. Obviously, just the first 2 games for us this week, and then we delve back into it the week after. But still plenty of footy going on. Obviously, we had the win there. Have we spoke about Porto?
no,
We recorded the day before.
We recorded the day before, did we?
Yeah.
Why did I think we had spoke about it? Maybe we'd done the pre-chat the week before that even.
Yeah,
as well.
we
Maybe
did,
that's what
I
I'm
think.
thinking. Look, bit of a shitter.
Yeah, a little bit of a change compared to what's been happening in the Premier League lately. Stat you're coming in telling me as you roll in the door that we've been scored half as many goals as Man United have all season.
Yep.
Just in February alone.
And that includes a no goal there against Porto.
Yeah, which I don't even think we had a shot on target, did we?
Yeah, I think that was the case. No shots on target, and we fall short to a lovely strike there in the 94th minute.
Yeah.
I believe Galeno involved in the most goals in the Champions League possibly up to this stage.
Okay.
Yeah,
Including qualifying rounds.
possibly. But yeah, awesome finish. So I saw something that said that we went there to play and they came to win or something like that, and I think that maybe that was what it was. We were trying to sort of find that perfect pass, and never actually trying to have a whack or having a clinical shot.
Yeah, it's also, I think maybe the occasion might have got to us a little bit. I don't think anyone was really even finding those passes anywhere near as well as they normally would in a league match. Over the last few weeks at least, subconsciously maybe that round of 16 sort of mental barrier is playing in players' minds a little bit. Potentially you go into it a little bit more cautious, knowing that you've got that return leg to lean on, whereas normally we're going to away grounds looking for the win. But yeah, probably lucky to have not conceded one or two more in that first half. Galeno, don't know how he missed with that first shot into the post and / follow up.
Yeah, definitely could have been
Lucky to get a vote with that one.
Definitely could have been a few more there for Porto, I think. And we are probably pretty lucky that we're only coming back to the Emirates with a 1-goal deficit there. But yeah, we're definitely going to. You might be right about that sort of mental block. We're going to have to go into that second leg, I think, with a different attitude, the attitude that we've been going into all these Premier League games with, where we know we can get out there and we can score a goal early on and look to sort of kill the game from there.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot better at the Emirates with the crowd behind us. Obviously, had a good chance to bounce back, and that was up against Newcastle. Didn't take us long at all to rediscover that goal scoring form. Quickly putting away 4 goals. I think it was before the 70-odd minute.
Yeah, something like that. It was but it was a real good performance. I thought this one. Yeah, I think we also broke a record for most amount, or maybe our record for most goals scored without conceding. I think we'd gone 17 goals scored in a row without conceding before Willock sort of broke that run there near the end of the game, which was unfortunate. But yeah, just awesome to see us. Obviously, we had that little blip. We weren't scoring goals. We had that break, and now we've come back. I just feel like we said the exact same thing last week, but we've come back in, and we're still firing away. Obviously, like we said, Newcastle not the same Newcastle that we saw last year, but still no easy beats. So we go out there and we scored 4 unanswered until that goal right there at the end. So
yeah, and it's a bit of a case of obviously we haven't really. Newcastle, West Ham were rubbish, and that 6-0. Burnley weren't great when we beat them 5-0, and Newcastle definitely weren't great now in this game. But maybe it's a case that we're just making them look shit the way we're dominating the game. A lot of pundits think we're in for a better chance at the league title this year compared to last year, just the way we're coming into.
Not real. I can imagine after seeing. Have you seen what he said as well this time around Arteta?
What's that?
He said that if the United job came in,
Rio Ferdinand.
yeah, Arteta would go.
Yeah, I saw him say that.
Outrageous. He's definitely headed a few too many balls in his time, I think.
Rio looking for a bit of clickbait there for his potty.
They had him there in the game in this one. They were chatting to him in the game. He was, I don't think he was commentating, but I think he was there maybe at half time, Rio. And they were talking about what he was saying about Saka.
Yeah, obviously he had a few things to say about Saka over the last couple of performances. But I think it's completely fair enough that he's saying that Saka's not world class. If you've got your definition of world class as being like the top 11 or 12 players, I think maybe Saka doesn't fit into that for all people.
Yeah.
That's probably fair enough.
I think a lot of this argument though is the old Saka Foden thing. So if you're going to say that Foden is world class and Saka's not, I think that's you've got a very fair argument to make there.
Yeah, there's pretty like brittle, and then it's the whole Saka will be world class as soon as he wins trophies. Okay, well, was Kane world class?
Yeah.
He hasn't won a trophy.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kane's world class.
Exactly.
He's fucking
one of the greatest scorers the Premier League's ever seen. He's
Exactly.
managed to score that many goals in such a shit team.
He could probably come
Yeah.
back from Bayern after his 3 years, play another couple of years, and still break the Premier League record. He's that close.
Unless Haaland breaks it before then.
Yeah, true.
5 goals this morning, was it against Luton? But that was a FA Cup game.
ridiculous.
But
4 assists.
4 assists from
Toronto as
KDB,
well,
yeah.
for the first 4 goals, but yeah, obviously Saka's putting up a hell of an argument to Rio Ferdinand, the first Arsenal player in 9 years to score 5 Premier League games in a row. Olivier Giroud, the last to do so. The first Englishman for Arsenal since Righty back in 94, I believe.
Been a wee while since we've seen that, so it's awesome to
It's
see.
a hell of an argument Saka's putting up. Yeah, look, world class, whether or not you want to call him that, I think most Arsenal fans would probably be a little bit biased, but probably say he is world class, and if he's not, he's not far off proving so. Another season or two of performing at the levels he is, then surely you have to consider him.
Yeah. 100%. I'd definitely consider him as a world class player. There's no doubt about it. Probably up there in the top 5-6 players in the Premier League, I'd say.
Yeah.
And I think,
especially considering how much Arsenal we do watch, it's always going to be that little bit of bias. But yeah, it's definitely hard to
go past them, that's for sure.
hard to back Rio Ferdinand's argument up. I'll accept it. Not everyone has to say he's world class. That's fine. Maybe if he wins the Champions League and Premier League this year, then there won't be much argument to be had. But fingers crossed we can see something like that. Liverpool and City just keep on keeping on, which is a bit of a shame. But
Expected, I guess that's what you think, what you expect to see there with those two. So I'd much rather win the
Liverpool winning trophy with their bloody under 18s.
Yeah, that's against against Chelsea's fucking under 23s or whatever you want to look at it.
£2
Chelsea,
goals.
Chelsea a fairly shit looking team obviously at the moment, and yeah, Liverpool going up there. Didn't really do it with the kids as such. I think it's more the kids were on the bench and came on with the last half hour, but obviously went to extra time, so they played a decent whack of that game, and they managed to score a goal when they were on. So maybe you do look at it like that, but I'd much rather win the league than win the Champions League. That's the one I want to get. So
Yeah.
good way to go about that, going 4-1, and a good way to go into a game up against a sort of goal heavy at the wrong end Sheffield United. Seem to be conceding quite a bit at the moment, so hopefully another 4 or 5 goals. Ideal situation here, keep that pressure on.
Yeah, if things go to plan, it's probably going to be hopefully fairly similar to those last few games. Multiple goals, clean sheet, if we can manage that as well, be pretty happy. Look, 13 points in 26 games for Sheffield United.
Big slim pickings for the Blades this year.
It's definitely pretty rough, but if they can hope a few more teams get a few hefty points deductions in a row.
Yeah, whereas we've seen
Nottingham Forest and Everton
have gone back to 6 points deducted now. They've got 4 points back.
Yeah, but they've got another charge pending.
They've got another charge pending, okay, so
I don't know whether or not we'll see that one come through by the end of the year, but
bring something in for City, something like that. Maybe City and Liverpool. They've both lost 5 points, something like that, so that'd be nice to see. Tuesday morning game, which is a bit unfortunate, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit of a bugger, the old work situation, but if you can stay off your phone, hopefully there's nothing too dramatic that goes on. You can come home, watch a little replay, of a little 3, 4, 5-0 win.
Yeah, that'd be
Saka keeping up his
ideal
goal-scoring streak. Maybe we see Jesus back in the matchday squad, ready for a charge home. Any news on him that you've seen?
No, not that I'm aware of. I mean, I wouldn't mind just seeing Jesus, Martinelli, Havertz and Saka, and then you've got Trossard there as well. And
I think Havertz has been playing really well. It's
probably the way I'd play it, to be fair, at the moment. And
Jorginho, anytime he steps into the midfield recently, he's been class, like just controlling the game for us, which is awesome. And, I guess Havertz could probably work on his finishing, but what is he now?
He's not a striker.
10 goals?
He's definitely not a striker. He's never been a striker.
He's not a striker, but like he's a good little hybrid that can sometimes play a little false nine striker, sometimes play in the midfield.
I think you've got to look at the rest of the work that he does rather than just the finishing. And that goal that he scored against Newcastle, perfect place to be. That's a striker's finish. He's in the right spot there. So whether or not, I think 3-4-0, happily take that, and we hopefully can see Liverpool and City slip up on the way.
Yeah, who do they have?
Is there not a Manchester derby coming up, or do
City
they play each
United.
other?
Yep, City play United next. Liverpool play, I'm not too sure off the top of my head. Why is that not coming up there?
Yeah, it just comes up there.
Forest.
Come on, Forest.
And then City
United. I mean, I don't really see United doing much there.
But it's the game. It's the occasion there that hopefully we can see.
Then we've got Liverpool City,
and we play Brentford. And that's where we. It's a draw that we're after, I think, 100%. Or it's just City beat Liverpool, I think, because
we're only 1 point behind City.
And we play City.
So we can reel in.
So I think maybe that's the way. Or a draw, I think probably draw is best. Probably it for the footy. We had, like you said before, a little bit of heartbreak in terms of the cricket. We saw us go oh so close, first 2020.
Yep.
Second 2020, I'm sitting there, I'm getting myself down, ready to watch. Third ball of the innings there for Aussie, 6. I think they were sitting there for 18 or 20 off the first over, and I thought, Jesus, this is going to be a very high scoring game. Obviously, we completely fell apart in that one. And then we see a washout pretty much in the third one.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a New Zealand cricketing summer without a rain of Duckworth Lewis getting involved. 3-0 loss. Never really nice, but
it's not what you're after, is it? Plenty of things to work on. I think the batting's looking good, but I think out on the field we've got some catching practice to do. The lads need to get out there with a crazy catch, I think, and really test themselves. They need to get out there and get some high catches in under the suns, maybe some nighttime light catches, something like that. You know, that'll really test your eyes. Chapman, especially, I think he dropped a couple over the 3 2020s, and maybe a little bit of work with the ball in hand too. We saw when looking at that second 2020, we saw Lockie Ferguson when he came in. He was sort of that one that spiked the change a little bit there. But some pretty shocking bowling there. Trent Bolt on that one, not going the best, obviously facing that first over, and you'd expect a team like New Zealand, who do usually play quite well at home, to do better at Eden Park. But a bit of a shame, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a shame. Plenty of time to bounce back before the World Cup in June. Plenty of time to get that catching practice sorted.
I like the look of Ben Sears. I hadn't seen much of him before, but I like the look of him. I thought he...
He's a handy bowler.
Yeah, I thought he was quite good. He had a couple of good overs there in that one there too, but it's a little bit unfortunate. We get into a little bit of test action now, I believe. That must start up.
Starts tomorrow, I believe.
Where is that being held? Not Eden Park, you'd hope.
Nah, they don't play Test.
Can you imagine that? You'd be looking at maybe 600-700 runs scored in a Test match there.
I went to a Test at Eden Park once, and England got bowled out for like 40 or 50.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's outrageous. You'd be expecting a little bit more work.
Like 9 for 19.
In a Test match.
Something, yeah, it was ridiculous. But that was 10 or 11 years ago, I think. I was still at high school, maybe first year out of school. But yeah, definitely not too many Tests at Eden Park. It'll probably be maybe Mount or Wellington.
Yeah.
Maybe I think it's actually Wellington. So fingers crossed for 5 days of good weather. A good win for the Black Caps to bounce back. But yeah, Aussie, it's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough.
Probably going to be leaning towards the Aussies in this one.
I think. Number one team in the world.
We're definitely more of a Test cricketing nation, I think, at the moment than a T20 nation. We've been playing some good Test cricket.
We've only lost the one game in the current World Test Championship cycle, 3 from 4. So fingers crossed we can keep that percentage high, stay top of the table.
That's what we're after. But we have to wait and see. What's that? Thursday, Friday, Monday. We haven't been able to see too many 5 days tests these days. It might be done in 4.
Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.